All right. So
here we are.
Starting from the beginning, your parents were who?
Elsie, E-L-S-E.
Oh, okay.
Marie Koch Baker.
Marie Koch Baker. So she was a Koch before she was a baker.
Yeah.
And who was your father?
My father was William Ernest Baker.
So they were growing up. Do you know where they came to live from? Did they come to America?
My mother was from Yonkers, New York.
Yonkers, New York.
My father was from Willimantic.
Willimantic. Okay. So they met each other, obviously. And when they met each other, they obviously started a family. And where did that family start? Where did you start when you grew up?
In West Hartford.
West Hartford. So you're in West Hartford. And how many are there of you?
Just two.
Just you.
My sister and myself.
You and your sister. And who was first?
My sister.
So you were the baby.
Yeah.
And what
Skinny babies.
Skinny baby. I saw that picture. But well fed.
Oh yeah.
So you're growing up, and what are your parents doing while you're growing up? What are their jobs?
Well, before they were married, my mother was a teacher.
Okay.
In New York. She taught phys ed and the grades.
Okay.
And my father was a registered pharmacist.
Pharmacist, right. So they're both working, and then when she came from New York and they came from Willimantic, and he came from Willimantic, he continued to be a pharmacist. But what did your mom, did she stop working?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And raised you two.
My father says, is there anything I can't get you? So
she
didn't work.
She was all set.
Yeah.
Wow. Did she ever seem like that was something she wanted to do, or did it seem like she missed teaching at all, or did she?
I think maybe, but
she was okay with it.
Yeah.
She got to be with you.
Well, then her parents came up from Yonkers.
Okay.
Because her father retired from Otis Elevator in Yonkers.
Okay.
And when he retired, he needed something to do. So they came up here, bought a 3-family house. And he had a garden. He had chickens. He had grapevines. It was great. They lived on the 2nd floor, and we lived on the 1st floor.
Oh, okay. So this was in Hartford, West Hartford?
West Hartford.
And it was your grandparents that bought the house?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Nicolina, Christina, Henrietta, Nielsen, Koch.
The whole load.
Wow. And so do you know where they originated from? Like they were in New York. Was it just someone just before them that had come from
Germany?
Germany, right? So their parents came from Germany. Your great grandparents?
I guess.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But your parents lived in New York. They didn't come from overseas.
My mother lived in New York.
Yep.
My father in Willimantic.
Right, Connecticut.
So, but my grandmother was Danish.
Right.
And then was in Germany and met my grandfather, I guess.
Okay.
He came over.
Okay. So, it seems like you remember the gardens at your house?
Yeah.
Is that something that, was there anything else you remember about the house that you liked about it, or?
Oh, it was great. We had a great time there. Nice front porch with a swing on it. It was great.
So.
And my mother had a beautiful garden.
Okay.
She had all kinds of flowers.
So that's where you get your enjoyment of flowers?
Yeah.
From
yeah.
So what was your childhood like with you and your sister growing up? What kind of things did you do for fun, or?
Well, we weren't that close. We were close, but she was 5 years older than I was.
Okay.
So really going to school, By the time I went to school, she was out of that school.
Okay.
So we weren't really in school together or anything.
Okay. So what did you do then? You had your own set of friends?
Yeah.
What kind of stuff did you do around the neighborhood?
Well, I played jump rope and marbles and hopscotch, and the girl across the street had a tennis court. And then in 1939, we built a cottage in Andover, Connecticut,
Okay.
and then lived there in the summer,
Right.
and then came back for school.
So did your mom take you up there then? To the cottage? And your dad worked, or did he take summers off?
Oh no, he worked.
Yeah, he stayed working.
Yeah.
So he would come up maybe on weekends, or?
Oh no, he could come. It's only 20 miles.
Oh, okay, it's close enough.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was during the war, and we didn't have gas. But his car was registered in Andover. So he got a C card instead of an A card. So he had gas to go back and forth.
Really?
Mm.
That's a nice perk.
Mm.
So everyone got cards, and the cards would say when you.
There was a thing on the car, right?
Take the window.
Yeah.
Windshield.
It was an A or a B or a C, whatever.
And that was basically saying when you could get gas.
Or not when, but how much you could get.
Okay, so the higher your letter, the more gas you were allowed.
Yeah.
And what gave him a C? Is it because he was registered away from West Hartford?
Yeah, from where he worked.
Oh, okay, so they figured he had to go back and forth. So that's a good perk.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't say, I live in West Hartford. He said, no, that's okay. Smart. So, what do you remember as far as growing up in West Hartford? What were holidays like?
Oh, the holidays were great.
Okay. What's one that sticks out for you?
Christmas.
Christmas? What was Christmas like?
Well, of course, we have my grandparents upstairs.
Right.
And then my grandfather died, and another woman moved in with my grandmother.
Okay.
So they spent Christmas with us, too.
Okay.
But my grandmother was a terrific cook.
Oh.
Oh, my God, could she cook. Beautiful, prime rib, perfect. And they had coal stoves, or wood stoves. And she would make cookies. Of course, being Danish, the most beautiful things. But then they'd come downstairs for Christmas.
Come downstairs, so it was you and your sister and your mother and father and your grandmother and then the woman that moved in.
Yeah.
And you would all. Do you remember what kind of presents? Did you get a lot of presents?
Oh, yes. We never wanted for anything.
No.
Nothing.
It was good.
Yeah.
And this was during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like a pretty happy childhood.
Very.
Very happy.
Yep.
Do you remember? It seems like so. Since your sister was so much older, do you remember anyone in the neighborhood that you were really good friends with, like a best friend or someone you did everything?
Pauline Wysocki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she
lived 2 houses away from me.
And you're still friends with her now, right?
Yeah. 82 years.
Wow. So you would spend most of your time. Would you go to her house or would she come to your house?
She'd come to my house. Her father was not well.
No. Okay.
So, but then there were some other girls in the neighborhood that I hung out with.
Mm-hmm.
Therese, Daphne. What the heck's her name now? O'Hare.
Okay.
We used to play paper dolls all the time.
What's that?
Paper dolls? You buy a book and it would have 2 dolls in the front paper.
Yep.
And then inside were all the clothes. And you could cut them out and put them on these people.
Oh, that's fun.
I know they don't have paper dolls anymore.
No, now it's probably.
I mean, we had brides. We had Shirley Temple. We had wonderful things. Sonia Henning was the skater.
Yep.
Yeah. So we played paper dolls a lot.
And it was a neighborhood that was a quiet neighborhood, or was it?
Oh yeah, it was quiet.
So it was like quiet streets.
Mm.
It was on a fairly busy street.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
He
was
said,
on a fairly busy street.
Well, it wasn't then. And
Oh,
then
I see. Okay.
they built Pratt and Whitney up the end,
later
and then
on.
it got busy, and then
Okay.
they had a bus line.
But before that, it was
It
quiet.
was quiet. Yeah,
And so, where did you go to school?
I went to Charterwell Grammar School, Alfred Plant Junior High,
hmm
and Hall High School.
Did you like school?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
Had a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you? So now you're. Let's say you're a teenager now, and what are some things you're doing as a teenager? You know, you go to high school at Hall High School.
Hall High School.
Okay.
Yeah. Not the one that's there now. Not the new hall.
Okay.
The town hall in West Hartford
Okay.
was our high school.
That was the high school.
Mhm.
Was that where Tammy works? Or no? That's
Tammy, no,
no. She
No.
didn't she work at
she was in Elmwood.
Elmwood? Okay.
Mhm.
So you're in high school, and
Well, even in junior high, we had a ball. We had hay rides and dances and programs we put on. Every homeroom would put on a program once a month or whatever.
what is it? What would that be?
When?
No. What would be a program?
Oh, have somebody in the class would sing, somebody would dance, or
Really?
yeah,
And that was once a month.
yeah,
So each group, each class would be in charge of that month.
yeah, yeah.
Putting on a show for the whole school.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what about what other things did you maybe in high school? Did you play sports or in music or in plays or?
We had a club in high school called the Winter Sports Club, like no other club ever. And they had all kinds of activities. Almost the whole school belonged. We'd go on ski trips. We'd go to Pittsfield or Dartmouth Winter Carnival
Mm-hmm.
or Riverside or roller skating. And then all kinds of holiday parties. And it was great.
Wow,
Everybody belonged to that.
that was a good
I'll
club.
show you pictures sometime.
That was a good club to be in.
It was terrific. So,
Did you play any sports or anything? Other than
not really.
no.
No.
Did you listen to music?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of music did you like?
Big bands.
Yeah.
Big bands, yeah. Tommy Dorsey, Glenn Miller, Harry James, all those.
Do you remember having it on? Was it more on the radio or did you have?
Radio.
Yeah.
That's all we had. We didn't have any television.
No, and you didn't have records or anything.
Oh, yeah.
You'd buy
Lots
records.
of records.
Did
I
you?
used to sing on the radio.
I know that.
Oh, yeah, lots of records.
Were they your parents' records or would you buy records?
We'd buy records.
Yeah.
You used to be able to go down to Hartford and listen to the records and then buy them if you wanted them.
Really?
Yeah.
So so you can preview it for yourself and see if you liked what.
Oh, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And was Pauline still your best friend in high school? Or did no? Who'd you?
My best friend was Louise Baker.
Uh-huh.
Same last name.
Yeah. And Elsie Paulson were the main ones.
Okay.
Elsie used to live on this street.
Yeah.
Really?
With,
Not for long, though.
Okay.
That's right, yeah. It wasn't
Yeah, she was only there a couple of years.
kind of a sad situation, wasn't it?
But Louise Baker and I, of course, with the Baker name, were together a lot.
Yep.
And she just passed away in October.
Oh, okay.
But I sent a note to her that we had a baby girl, Janet.
Mm-hmm.
And she sent a note to me that she had a baby girl the same day.
I didn't know that. I don't remember.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
She had a baby girl the same day as Janet.
Oh boy.
Did she name her Janet?
No.
No. That would have been something.
No.
So you're growing up now, and
Of course, we go to the lake all summer
right
and swim.
in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Ice skate in the winter.
Not too much, but once in a while.
Yeah.
So it would freeze over.
Oh, yeah,
You could walk out on it. And,
yeah. Ronald had a skate sail. You could hang on to it and go flying across. Or on a boat, a skate boat, whatever that is.
When
And
it was-
he had that.
Ronald, she's talking about,
Was two
Well,
houses up from me.
was my sister-in-law's brother.
Okay,
So I used to be able to go down there with them. It
right.
was only about two houses away from where they lived.
Good thing.
Yeah.
That was the fatal mistake.
No, that was the best thing that ever happened. So as you're going through high school, did you go to college?
Yeah,
Where did you go to college?
Hillier College. You wouldn't believe. It was an old school in Hartford, and I'm telling you, old. The floors creaked and all, but we had the best time there. And to this day, I have friends
From
that we get together from Hillier. That was in 1949 we graduated.
So you started in 1945.
No, I only went 2 years.
2 years, so 47.
Yeah.
And what did you want to be? Did you go there for a certain?
For medical secretarial.
Okay. So you went there for medical secretary, and
And of course, I had met him in the meantime at the lake.
okay, so you've met him before college or during college.
Sure.
Okay, and do you remember? So you got out of college, and what'd you do after that?
I worked for 1 year and got married.
Okay.
And she never worked again.
So let's get to that. Let's get to that then. So you're at the during college, you're at the lake, or is it before college when you meet him?
Well, it was when I was in college.
Okay, so you're at the lake in college, and what happened? How'd you find out about this guy?
My mother said there's a nice Trinity boy up the street. So
A couple of houses away.
I went up and I met him.
So you went to meet him,
I guess, yeah.
Got together.
and he was just out, and you were just out and you just did you introduce yourself or?
Probably. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
And you meet, and I'm sure everybody meets lots of people. So what made it after you met him? It didn't end there. So what happened after that? Did you?
Well, a couple of years later, we got married.
Well, the very first thing that happened was I didn't have to sleep on Ronald's floor in the living room in the weekends. But then I used to go and sleep in their house on the couch out in
So it was great for you. So you would spend the time when you were at the lake. You started to just get to know each other
Mm.
and just spend more time together. And then a couple years later, who did you know early? Like, how soon did you know? I like him, and I want to.
I don't know. He was pretty nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
handsome.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
Don't forget, I was going to college too.
Right. So you're both
And I was living in my brother's house in the attic.
the one that was on the lake, that house, or another house?
No. In Hartford.
Okay, in Hartford. So you were living. So you would only go down to the lake
On weekends.
on weekends.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'd be there all the time.
Right.
All summer.
Right. So you'd wait for him to come down on the weekends,
Yeah.
and then
something
you'd
like
go up and say. So, how did it come to be that you decided to get married? Who said what? Did he ask you?
There was a situation in my house. My grandmother was getting elderly
Mm-hmm.
and moved down to our first floor.
Okay.
So she had one bedroom. My mother and father took the back bedroom, and I didn't have a bedroom. So every night, we brought out the rollaway bed in the dining room and set that up so I'd have something to sleep on. And he didn't like that. So he said, come on, let's get married.
That way you don't have to sleep in the rollaway bed. Oh, that
So we did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you decided to get married, and this is 1949 now? 2 years after you did, or
We
around
got-
then?
We got married in the end of 1950.
Okay.
Yeah.
Near the end of 1950.
So what,
September, no, November.
Mm-hmm.
did you plan the wedding?
Yeah, very small,
Okay.
very small.
And where was it?
It was at St. Mark's Church in West Hartford
Mm-hmm.
That was up the street from where she lived.
Okay.
She wasn't Catholic,
on
but
Quaker Lane.
Right. Right. And so the marriage it happened in the church early in the day or
Around 11.
11?
Yeah. And then after the wedding, we went to the Hooker house, which was right next door to Brock's.
Okay.
There's that big old house.
Yep.
And we had a dinner there for the family and the wedding party. And that was about it.
Okay.
then we had open house on both houses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah.
house and then in my sister's house, my older sister.
But we never really had a reception like,
Yeah.
Right. It was more of a
Like
just
big-
everybody get together.
yeah.
That's nice though.
It was small, very small.
Do you know how many people were maybe at the church or at the wedding part? Less than 100?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was fairly good, fairly decent size. It wasn't what you'd call big,
Right.
but it was a fairly decent size.
Mostly family?
Not really, mostly friends.
Friends.
We didn't have much family.
Okay. Because you only have one sister.
Mm.
How many siblings did you have?
I had a brother, he was my best man, of course.
Yep.
And I had two sisters,
Okay.
one older and one younger.
Okay. So small. So you get married, and did you have a honeymoon?
Oh yeah.
What'd you do?
We went, we were going to, I don't know where we were going,
Up towards Maine or something.
but he had had an accident right before, and that Easter.
Oh geez, yeah.
And he was worried that his license was suspended.
Okay.
So we just went to New York. But we didn't even have reservations or anything.
Yep.
And when we got down there, it was the weekend of the Yale-Harvard game,
Okay.
so there was no room. So we came back and stayed in a tourist house in New Rochelle.
New Rochelle. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You know
Great.
New Rochelle.
Yeah. And so what'd you do?
Right
when
near
you
the water, right near the river.
Right near the-
river.
So what
And
were you-
of course, once the game was over and the people left, then we went to New York.
Okay. So New York City.
Mm-hmm.
So that was where your honeymoon was, in the
Yep.
city. And what'd you do while you were in the city?
Went to shows and whatever, looked around.
Walked around.
Yeah,
That's a good.
toured.
That's a fun idea.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
And
I
then
had just gotten a job, remember?
Uh-huh.
I had to get the job so that we could get married, so we'd have the money to pay for the rent. And I didn't want to spoil the job,
Right.
so I was taking a job, and I was only there,
Well, we-
maybe a month or so.
Before the
came
honeymoon.
back-
And I'm
Earl.
saying I'm getting married, and I'm going to be gone, so I couldn't stay too long. So I didn't stay the whole time. I
well,
went
we
back to work part of the time.
came
Oh.
back early because we were married on the 18th of November,
Okay.
and Thanksgiving was the next
Yeah, that's
Thursday.
right.
Oh, okay.
So we came home for Thanksgiving.
So you went away to New York City for just a few days, and then came
Mm.
back for Thanksgiving, and you came back to go to work.
Yeah.
And now you're married, and this is, we said, 1950.
Mm-hmm.
And when did you know, first time you knew you were gonna be parents?
Couple months later,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 months later.
Sick as a dog, and I
got
wasn't
a story
working
to tell
then.
you about that. I'll do it when it's my turn.
Okay.
Couple months. Well, I had stopped working, so I was home.
Okay.
We lived in an apartment near St. Francis Hospital.
Okay.
What'd we pay, around $50 a month?
It was 50, yeah, 40 or 50.
Okay.
So,
And you
Plus
just made
another
your,
couple of dollars for the car. I had parked the car
Mm.
3 or 4 blocks, 3 or 4 houses up.
you had to pay for the parking.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you were sick.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know why you were sick, or you just went?
Oh, yeah.
To, yeah. So you went to the doctor, or did you? Just,
Yeah.
and they said,
Yep.
"You're having a baby."
Yeah.
And what was your reaction?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Happy.
You were excited.
Yeah. Yeah. But she was born 11 months from the day we got married.
Okay.
She was born in October.
Yeah.
And we lived near St. Francis Hospital. So the day she was born, he went over and got my mother to stay in the
About 6
apartment.
o'clock in the morning.
And my mother and I walked to the hospital
Yeah.
to get Janet.
That's convenient though.
Yeah.
So when you had Janet, were you there?
No,
No.
I went to work.
You were working, right?
Yeah.
So she was with her mother.
I was working 82 hours a week.
So you were busy.
Huh?
You were busy.
Pigeon?
You were busy.
Busy, yeah.
Yeah. So now you have starting to have a family, and then soon after Janet, you didn't. Then
2 years later.
2 years later, Donald came.
Yes.
He was on his way when we come out and bought this.
Okay. So you came here before Donald was born.
Mm.
Okay. So you decided to move. What made you want to move out of Hartford and come here?
Well, the family was expanding. We only had 2 rooms, 2.5 rooms.
Okay. And you were renting before?
Yeah.
You were renting?
Yeah.
So you decided to come and buy a house,
Mm-hmm.
and you thought,
And we saw this one and we bought it. So Donald was born in 53.
okay.
That's when we bought the house.
So 53 buy the house, and Donald was born.
First of month. His birthday's on the 1st, isn't it?
Mm.
And then, how far after Donald 53? Is mom 55?
56.
56. So a few years later is 56, and then
The wild one,
the wild one was in the
61.
61. So really, there wasn't a lot of just you two going on vacation.
No.
It was we're married, family starting, and you had bought the house, so you're getting all your ducks in a row, and you're working like a dog, and so you didn't do it. You didn't really. So what about when you have your family now, and what does that look like? You know, you're at home with the kids,
Yeah.
and he's working,
Mm-hmm.
and so what was?
I didn't even drive then.
No.
No.
What would be a day then? What's a day look like? How early did he leave?
Oh, he went to work, what, 9 o'clock in the morning?
For the factory, when I was working in the factory, it was
Before he was married.
about
Oh, no.
6:30 or so.
Okay. So he goes off to work.
When I left there and got a regular job, about 8:30 or something like that.
So he goes off to work, and what are you doing?
Taking care of the kids.
Yeah.
And chatting with the neighbors. And
This
course.
this neighborhood was all brand new.
Right?
They
so,
were all youngers like us. There was
Okay.
only 1 or 2 families that were older.
Right.
All the rest of them were all having children.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And the kids, how were the kids? As far as, was it easy?
yeah.
They were all pretty good.
Yes, very good.
And
Except your mother belonged to a gang.
I heard about that. We won't get into that with the camera rolling. That's incriminating. So what did you decide to do did you decide that when you were with the family and as they're getting older, did you decide as together, or did you say we're going to go to church, or we're going to be, was religion big, was it big, or was it not?
What, the religion? He was, of course, Catholic. And I'm not.
And you're not.
So he brought the kids to church.
Yep.
And they all went to St. Mary's.
Okay. When he would bring the kids to church, would you stay home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so would it be just like an every Sunday type of deal? Was it a big? Did it play a role in the family? Was it like a big, or was it more of, on Sundays it's important we go to church?
Yeah. And then they had catechism classes.
Okay.
And then first communions and confirmations. And
Okay.
Well, that was because they went to the school down there, Catholic school.
what was
St.
because?
Mary's, is that what it was called? St. Mary's, yeah. So they were, well, they only went to the school for maybe about 2 years, right? That's all it was. It's only about a 2-year school.
Catechism?
No, the school wasn't the way it is now.
Okay,
Matter of fact, the church wasn't the way it is now.
right.
The church was a tiny little church and couldn't even hold everybody. Some people had to stand outside.
I did,
Hmm
with the two kids on the stairway.
Yep.
On that stairway
Yeah.
outside.
It was a little like wooden church. It was really neat.
Huh.
And then they tore that down, put the big church up.
The big church.
But they went to the regular school all through their young years
Yep.
until they
The
got
grammar
to
school.
about, what, 10 or 11 or whatever. Then they went to St. Mary's, where it was a Catholic school.
Right,
So they were getting the same training and what have you.
right,
Only
right.
it was a Catholic school.
So was it pretty? Did you have it easy? You'd say growing up. I mean, not growing up, but with the kids growing up, with him working. Did it?
Oh, yeah.
Did it ever
Yeah.
seem hard, or was everything always?
No, it was good.
It was good.
Yeah, we had great vacations.
What did you do for those?
Went to the beach
Went to the beach for a couple of weeks.
2 weeks, and then we started going for a month.
Then we went for 4 weeks. Yeah.
All of you?
Yeah.
Well, I had to work for 2 weeks, so I would only go for 2 weeks.
2 of the
I'd
weeks.
go down during the week once in a while.
Yep.
But by then I was the boss, and I could leave early and all that kind of stuff.
So what beach would you go to?
Point of Woods.
Is that in Rhode Island or Connecticut?
No, in Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
So you went to Point of Woods, and you'd go for a month. Would you rent a place,
Hmm
a little cottage?
I rented in February.
Oh.
I'd call him up in February. The guy lives somewhere in Hartford here, didn't he?
Weathersfield.
Weathersfield, yeah.
And you'd rent.
Call him up and just tell him who I was. Hey, how you doing? I'd send him the money.
And what days, what weeks would you stay down there? In
First
Usually
part of
August.
August,
First part of
Yeah.
August, yeah.
August.
and you would just go to the beach every day,
Oh,
play
yeah.
in the water.
2
Mm.
or 3 times.
Wow.
Yep.
So that's pretty nice for the kids.
Yeah.
Man, they had it pretty good.
They did. Let me tell you.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And the neighborhood here was great. So they'd go out in the morning. They'd come home for lunch.
Yeah.
At the school, they used to have a program for the kids. And they'd go over in the morning. They'd have races. They'd have contests. They'd have crafts. They had all kinds of things for the kids. So they'd go out in the morning, come back for lunch, and go back for the afternoon.
So that's nice.
It was great.
So it's like the neighborhood was almost like a day camp.
Yeah.
Everybody got together and everything was.
Mm.
So that's really nice for the
It was
for the
nice.
parents, and everyone knows where they are at. And
Yeah. Well, we thought we did anyway.
was there ever a time when you were, where it ever got really difficult, or as far as it was just always?
No, kids were good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Huh.
They all did well in school, and
Oh, yeah.
they were good.
What is a family memory that you might have from when you were maybe? It could be any time. It could be when you were a kid. It could be when you were raising the kids. That anything stick out as something that was really fun, or really a funny story, or something
Nothing really, but of course going to the lake every summer was great.
that was your ideal part of
Yeah.
the year.
Yeah. Until I got to high school. Then I don't want to leave the kids here. I mean, my friends here.
Right.
You want to be with your friends more.
So it was harder when because you would still go to the lake in high school, and that was when you wanted to stay and hang out with your friends,
Mm.
and that was harder, but you'd still go.
Oh, yeah.
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 What would you say you're most grateful for? It doesn't have to be maybe one thing, but just looking back now.
Just the great life that I've had.
Yeah.
It's been terrific.
Yeah.
Never wanted for anything. Nothing.
Always taken care of.
Yeah. Even during the war. We had rationing during the war. You got little tickets and you could only buy so much meat.
Right.
Two new pair of shoes a year. It wasn't easy. It'd kill Tammy.
I used to go barefooted. No, I'm only kidding.
But we always had plenty.
Yeah.
So
And what
I wanted for nothing.
it was was it because your dad was a farm? Is it because he made good money as a pharmacist?
Yeah, he made good money
And he just had to. Did he?
He was a nice guy. He could blend in with anybody.
Yeah.
very quiet.
Right.
But yeah, no, we were fine. Went to all the dances, went to everything.
What do you think would be? What have you taught your kids that you think is something that you want to make sure your kids knew, or had as a value?
Well, hopefully they're respectful.
Yeah.
And honest and hardworking. Not too hard.
Making sure
because they had it pretty good too.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
I never knew they had it so good.
Had what?
I never knew they had it so good.
They did. Ask your father how many pork chops he got.
Oh, he tells me that story. He couldn't believe it.
Oh, yeah. But they had cars. We got them cars.
Yeah, they all got cars, except your mother.
She didn't get a
Your
car.
mother didn't get a car. I don't know why, but I think, well, I used to bring her down and take her back on the weekend. She came home every weekend, right? Just about every weekend, I think.
And she was in nursing school?
Nursing school downtown. Downtown St. Francis had a nursing school downtown. They had the what was the name of the
Bond Hotel.
Bond Hotel. You never heard it. Did you hear
She
that?
told me that that's where the dorm was.
Yeah, that's where that's where they changed it into, I guess, St. Francis bought it, I suppose. And so she used to come home. It was nothing to go get her. It was only maybe about a 15-minute
And then
trip.
she had a boyfriend. He used to go down there and pick her up.
Yeah.
That was nice of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a story too.
But
yeah.
Then when she started working, when she got graduated, she graduated from there, right? Didn't they have the thing there in the top floor? We used to go dancing. We used to go to dances there one night. But anyway, they all had to pay when they started working. They were working at home, and she was working and paying home so much to us. And what she probably didn't know, I'm not sure whether she would or not, we were putting it into the bank.
Okay.
And so that when she was really settled in her job, doing her job, maybe, I don't know how long after that it was, 6 months or a year and a half, whatever it was, we drew it all out and gave her the money for the down payment on a brand new car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So don't tell her that, whatever you do.
Is there anything else that you can think of that you...
We had a pool in the backyard. It was great.
Yeah.
Loved the pool.
30 years.
30 years with the same liner, the same pool.
Yeah.
So would most of the kids come here then in the summer days?
Lots. We had family that used to here. My sister,
Yeah, not so much neighborhood kids.
Okay. Family?
Family, yeah. But not neighborhood kids.
No. Oh, no. Well, she had, what's her name? Greek.
Connie.
Connie used to come up with your mother.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be in there. As soon as I saw Connie, because Connie was very nervous and as soon as I saw her, when I came home, I'd come running and get my basics and I'd go out there. And I'd go around, I'd be pinching her in the feet and all over, oh, it would drive her crazy.
And we also had a baseball team in the backyard.
I heard about that.
All the neighborhood boys would come over and wait for him to get home from work.
There'd be 4 or 5 kids sitting on the steps.
Just waiting.
When I got home. Hurry up and eat!
Did Donald play or was it?
Donald played too.
Donald played.
And I used to have, I'd put down what they had done, all the different things, the good and bad, and then I put it all down. and three or four or five of them would stay, and we'd be out in the back porch with the line on, and I'd be going through. Oh, they were crazy about it. I think we did that for a couple of years. I think, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that was excellent.
yeah, it's been a great